you, some of you aren't. I don't even want to go around the group, positives and negatives.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
I don't want to be in charge of anybody. I want to be responsible for myself and the area that I'm in. I did learn that people hold you accountable for every fucking word you say. And we all know what happened yesterday. I'm not going to get into it. I thought that the water slide would have been better if that wasn't going on, but we still have it underneath the stairs that we can use again later. And I'm glad it's over. I don't want to be in charge. You guys can, I thought the positives were, I thought the chore charts worked out good. Seemed like people were doing stuff. I tried to implement some fun with the water slide. Negatives were, obviously the ordering process is broken, needs to be fixed. Maybe she could propose something, maybe 3 people involved, 2 people involved. Something needs to be done with that. If you guys would like to comment, go ahead.
I apologize for totally flaking on asking Mike and Dedeker's opinion on ordering art supplies. I seriously was just, I don't know, I had a blonde moment, for real. I even after we had that whole conversation and a whole meeting about it, I just spent so much time talking to each person individually, and I guess I thought that was okay, but clearly not, so I know I'll never do it again.
I think we learned no ordering without a group vote, period.
Yeah.
Anything. A
Anything.
damn one Sour Patch Kid, anything. If you want to use the bathroom, fucking group vote. If you want to take a shit out in the woods, group vote. If you want to take a shower, we all got to vote on it. No, I'm serious though.
No.
That's what it's come to, and I think that's a rule that's going to be universal. And it's important. It protects us from ourselves, and it protects all the things that happened yesterday. Would not have happened if, maybe communication was better. I shouldn't have said what I said, executive, whatever. I was just looking into some extra things. It wasn't ordered. It wasn't going to show up here. So I don't want to go back through that. It's over. We've moved on. Anybody else want to comment? No? We're good? All right. Well, without further ado, we've got Kristen up next. And take it away, Kristen.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for allowing me to serve.
I'll keep it pretty short and sweet. First, I'm just going to start off with a little housekeeping. Over the past 2 weeks, I've kind of noticed as a group, our energy and our attitudes have really we've been fighting a lot more. Even though good things are happening, we did an amazing weekend last week, and there's just been a lot more of petty back and forth situations. So the first request I am going to make / put into order is no more arguments while we're eating breakfast or while we're eating dinner. If you have a conflict with someone that arises at the dinner table, solve it after dinner or after breakfast, because I think that puts, not only does it get all of us involved and then we fight as a group, but on top of that, it either starts your day off bad or you go to sleep mad, and it's just not a productive thing for us to be doing. That's one of my only requests on that end. As far as my government system, I don't think it's a big secret that I tend to be more of a business-oriented person. I am a capitalist outside of here. I do believe that everyone should be pulling their own weight, and in doing that should feel empowered to grow as a person. We can talk the details either now or tomorrow. It's up to you guys. But I've basically set up a system where not only will we just survive here, but we'll actually thrive as individuals. I would like to separate out our business into group businesses and private businesses. I would like to propose a system where if you have a private business, you keep 60% of your earnings and 40% gets paid back into the group. I also want to propose a system where we are being awarded a percentage of our weekly pay for the chores that we are doing. Chores are separated out into barn, garden, kitchen cleanup, house cleanup, infrastructure, marketing, and accounting. Basically, the system I want to have is one that empowers everybody to work a little bit harder. Because right now, we're all surviving. We're all just trying to have enough money so we can order ramen to eat for lunch. And I just want to see us grow beyond that, because to me, that's what we're here for. We're not here to just survive. So the system that I'm going to propose will not only help us grow as individuals, But in growing as individuals, the group will also grow too, because a portion of what our private businesses will be making will go back towards the group. And as far as business investments, we saw how that went the other day with Josh and his crates, trying to get a business investment from the group. I mean, honestly, there was so much disagreement. It was like pulling teeth on so many different levels. So by proposing this system, you know, if you have a private business, and I'm going to use Chris as an example, if Chris is selling his art on our website that he's exclusively making and no one else is helping him, and he gets to keep 60% of his earnings from his art, he can then use that money to invest in his glass blowing in his personal business. Or if he wants to invest half of his money in his glass and request an investment from the group will then own 30% of his 60%, and he will pay them out and pay back the investment and work out the details with the group. I like that we have a community feel here, but I also don't want us to get too comfortable with that community feel. I want us to grow as individuals here too, because we're here to grow as a group and grow as individuals, I believe. So I have all the details laid out. If it's something we want to discuss right now, we can discuss right now. If it's something you guys want to save till tomorrow, we can discuss it tomorrow. But
what about the people that don't have some kind of business based on being here because their skill set doesn't allow that?
I've definitely thought of that, and there's a couple different solutions to that. Number one, you don't have to have a private business. It's not a requirement. If Chris is successful in his art and his glass blowing, he's still contributing 40% back to the group, and that's going to go into your pay as well. The private business is more of a way, if you still want more and more and more, you have the opportunity to do that. Secondly, if someone needs help in their business, say I have a business that I develop, a clothing business, but I can't sew. I just have ideas for the designs, and I want Dedeker to help me sew. She can be part of my business too. So I take that 60%, maybe her and I split it 50-50, so she now has 30% of my business. Or say Rob does sales on the phone, and he wants to start helping Chris sell his artwork and make cold calls or make emails. He can work out a personal agreement with Chris. I'll own 10% of your business, 20% of your business, and get that payout because I'm helping you. So it's still helping us work together as a group, but it's also empowering us as individuals to reach beyond what we're doing right now, reach beyond just these once-a-month group events, to grow as individual people. I mean, with Hex, she's a great example. I saw her come in here, and I'm pretty sure outside of here she didn't even know how to make jewelry or really even have a desire to make jewelry. But she came in here and she wanted to contribute something more, and she sought out her own education for that jewelry, and I think that kind of behavior should be rewarded with a 60% payout. It's not 100%, so we're not going to get, you know, this is mine, this is not yours. It's a 60% payout, 40% goes back into the group, and I just feel like this prevents people from becoming too individualized down the road, because honestly, I think realistically, we can't keep contributing like everything we're doing 100% back into the group without there eventually becoming some bitterness towards it. You know, like I'm putting this much work on my business, so-and-so's not working on anything, but we're still making the same. And I'm trying to prevent that from happening from the gate by splitting it up right now. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so let's say Chris brought in his tools and he's making money for during doing art.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Bella just had an order that to make art as well. Her money from art came from the group.
Mm-hmm.
So now if I want to do art too, can you guys make an order for me so I can do art?
You can use my art with community art.
And I think, yeah, I don't want to become, that's the thing I want to say, is I don't want to become too mine, this is my art supplies, because I would hope that we would grow together as a community through this and not become too individualistic. And I don't want to set specific rules like that, and I would hope like we as people would work with each other on that.
Right.
It's not meant as a negative thing. I just see so much potential in everyone here, and I want us to feel comfortable and motivated enough to reach that potential. So that's, I mean, that's the point that I'm coming from, you know. Go ahead.
I'm even willing to, like I told you.
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry. I didn't see your hand. I didn't.
Go
ahead, Rob.
Don't worry about it.
It just tags off her real quick. I like I mentioned to you yesterday when you said, yeah, it's a community group. I'm still on the fence about it, but I said, well, I'm willing to help you, teach you to art if you want to start painting, and you're welcome to use these paints because they're community paints. It's not my specific. I'm just going to use the community paints to paint and sell my paintings.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Rob.
So, I'm missing something here because
That's okay.
This is not a government It's a
No.
business
Yeah.
plan for all of our businesses, but that's going to change in 3 days, and it's not really government. So, how do you plan to have conflict resolution? How do you plan to take votes? How do you plan to manage the day-to-day chores?
For me, I'm definitely more of a Democratic, and I like what we have going. And I guess the only reason why I added this is because, to me, this is the only weakness I see. I don't want to see us keep changing the chore list every time we have a new government.
I agree.
You know, like, I think the structure that's been built, starting with anarchy all the way through, is great. And, like, I'm not one to change that because I think what we're doing is great. You know, and I don't want to keep beating a dead horse for those issues. Biggest, I guess, area of weakness or area of growth I saw was just our economy here and how we're operating our economy and how we're running our business structure. And so that's, honestly, that's really all I want to contribute because I'm so passionate about that. And I don't feel like I'm qualified to tell you how to do the dishes. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead.
How do you deal with someone who, let's say Chris, who's working on his art, you know, in terms of is the time he works on his art separate from his chore time, like that's during his free time only, and, you know, kind of weighing, you know, or like if someone's skill was electricity or building or plumbing and they like set up all this stuff and then but they don't have like another kind of business, I guess how do you rectify like all of the different work?
Well, what I did was I went through with each individual and saw duty-wise what everyone's doing now. Like, for example, you know, Dedeker is doing a lot of the accounting. You know, Chris does some of the garden. Taylor does barn and some of the garden. And I set up a list where everyone has the option to sign up for 2 duties a day. For me, I do the barn in the morning and I do marketing in the afternoon. Those are my duties. And as long as you sign up for 2 duties, you receive 0.5% of our total earnings that week. The business week runs from Monday to Sunday. So all of the earnings in that week, both group earnings and private earnings, 40% of the private earnings, you receive 1%, so you're paid out for doing your chores and contributing. So now you have more of an incentive to do the work that you're doing. And then on top of that, the way I kind of laid it out was private businesses would be something that we focus on more during the week, Monday through Friday, maybe in the evening hours with your yoga, with his boot camp, whatever anyone here wants to do. And then the weekend we take time to really focus on strengthening those group businesses. And within the group business, if we have an event, the art that Chris sells is for the group. Anything that's done during the group is still for the group business. Anything that's done outside of that, if he's building a website, if he's cold calling, whatever he's doing, if he's selling his artwork on Etsy, that's part of his private business.
So if someone wanted to sign up for more chores, then that's incentivized that they would get more money then too?
That's a possibility if that's something that everyone agreed on. I'm not like super passionate about that per se, but I just want to reward everyone for the hard work they're doing and encourage them to do more, you know, honestly. And the numbers themselves I'm not attached to any of these numbers, but I just want to set a system where instead of just saying we all make money and we throw it in a pot and then we get 30, 40, 50 a week for the next year, I just want to see there be more incentive here, you know. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it creates like weird incentives. Like I would have no incentive to do my chores or be an accountant or government stuff, or Josh would have no incentive to build infrastructure. Why not just work on those boxes all day? Secondly, like I would have no incentive to sell stuff on weekend events. I would want to sell it all online.
Right.
Because why would I want to give the group my money? Like, why would Chris want to sell his paintings here? I mean, he probably would because he's a cool guy, but like,
right.
Yeah, I think one of the issues I have with this is it would be like, you know, having a family and like telling your teenage kids they have to pay rent and they have to make their own rent. Like, this is a hybrid. This isn't necessarily a bunch of free individual. I don't know. Like, I think you might want to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah,
it might cause a lot of.
I'm not attached to any of the numbers, nor like, that's why I didn't really want I wasn't really thinking I was going to go over the facts with everyone today because they're still pretty loose. But all I know is I do want to drift a little bit away from 100% goes back into community, and then, you know, community decides if we invest in your business. If we don't want to do it, then you can't do what you want to do. Or if you do what you want to do, you have to come up with the money yourself, and you give it all back to the group. Because
Right.
I see long term that causing a lot of bitterness. You know.
Would you just consider some baby steps? That's all, because
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's cool to incentivize some private work, but
So you're saying incentivize private businesses, but leave the daily duties alone?
well, 1%. Like, why the fuck would I want to do that? I want to sell something online that makes $50 a pop. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about my duties. Now I just want to make a bunch of money. I could hire people to do my duties.
Or maybe you have to do your duties to get any of the money you make.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, these are just it's
Yeah.
like once you put in a capitalist system, you're dealing with like unintended consequences left and right and
Right.
incentives left and right. So it's just things to think
I guess
about.
I put the duty thing in too because I didn't want the people who were not business minded at this point in the game to feel like their work was going unnoticed.
But they get 1%.
But they get way less money
Yeah.
than somebody who does have a private business.
And if it, sorry, Josh had his hand up.
Well, I was thinking, you know, why don't I just not go to work and I could focus on, you know, the group bought tools, but those are for everybody, and then I could just get my own material, make my own boxes, and sell those online, and
Right.
don't have to do anything for anybody else.
Yeah, I guess
and not
I
go
guess
to work either, and I can make more money.
I guess the intention I had coming into it, and maybe that's not how people are seeing it, is I was hoping and trusting that no one would act like that. I was hoping and trusting.
But
You know,
you're
But
trying
when
to
the
direct
money, but when the
behavior.
reward is directly more money, like why
Yeah.
wouldn't people act like that?
I mean, you know, I guess I was just putting too much trust in the community that we have.
But if you're incentivizing based on money, then you have to be careful of.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
outcome.
we could set separate work hours, or we could say if your chores or your work here isn't done, you can only work on your stuff after that.
You can try.
You know, I just
I mean, these are like complex
Yeah.
things you're proposing.
And if you don't, then 100% of what you make from what you do goes to the group because you didn't do your group chores.
But like you just said there, what's going to be, if you already know you're not going to get anything, what's going to make Chris want to go draw? If he didn't do his chores that week, why would I go draw anything? Because I know I'm not going to make any money off that then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, Aaron wouldn't want to cook. He could have boot camp all day and make tons of money, and he
Yeah.
doesn't have to cook. Why? Because he doesn't care about 1%.
right. Well, yeah, and the 1%, I guess the 1% too could also be large depending on how much we make that week. So it's still a direct reward for how hard you're working. It was just 1%, so we didn't. I mean, or it's 0.5% actually, so we didn't bleed out either. You know.
I think your idea of rewarding hard work is awesome.
Thank you.
I mean, I second that, but you're trying to 60% compared to 40% is a large number difference on. I think if you're going this route, I think it should be more of a bonus. Yes, I think there's a percentage that someone should get more, but I think you're giving difference of just 60% to 40%. It's quite high. Like I totally respect that he does do a lot more work and he does do a lot of things, but at the same time, I don't know. It's just a lot of people here don't have what Chris has got going for him. I mean, he has a lot of skills that can be sold here. The glass blowing, the artwork. There's very few. Bella's got the artwork. Out of that group, I don't know. Can you draw?
Yeah, I'm not that very artistic, so.
I mean, I can draw a picture, but I bet no one's going to
And I don't want to build him a place to work, so
I guess I
so
think-
he's going to make money, and then I can't.
Just so you understand the place that I'm coming from, I guess the place that I'm coming from is like
Sorry, Chris, you're our bitch.
the place that I'm coming
just an
from.
example.
The place that I'm coming from is, you know,
let Kristen talk.
the place that I'm coming from is, you know, all these skills that we came in here with, we didn't know at one point. At one point, Josh, you didn't know how to build probably a stinking thing. I didn't know how to market. He didn't know how to do his glass or do art. But at a certain point, when you're encouraged to grow as an individual, you find things that you're good at. Hex found her jewelry that she's good at. She didn't come in here with that. So that's the place I'm coming from, is I want to see more of us as individuals pulling ourselves up by our own two bootstraps instead of trying to link arms and grab each other's boots and pull each other up at once. In order to succeed as a group, we have to be strong as individuals first, and I firmly believe that. Sorry, go ahead, Stedeker.
So, I mean, my question is just like, how is this different from the outside world, except that there's a higher tax rate in here, basically?
I don't necessarily think it's different from the outside world, and honestly, I was functioning great in the outside world, so I can't even bash the outside world. I was functioning just fine, and I don't think it is that much different.
I think like an incentive, like to work hard, like, you know, do I want to build 100 boxes? No. But if maybe I could get like 5% or 2%, or maybe Chris will stay up later. He'd do it anyways. I'd do it anyways too. But maybe you work extra hard and you get like 2% or a small number of the profits. An incentive like that I could see being realistic.
Right.
But like 60-40 is just going to create so much chaos. And
as long as I'm
that's
willing
gonna be a
to, it's not
priority.
about the numbers. It's just, for me, it was the idea. So I'm willing to adjust the numbers. I don't want to see you, Josh, making 100 boxes and not seeing any reward from that, because I know eventually I would get bitter about that.
Yeah.
You know, I want to stop bitterness before it starts in our group. You know, because already we're dealing with a lot of negative energy in our group, and it's hard to live in that environment. And so I'm not trying to encourage negative competition. I'm trying to encourage motivation and incentive in that way. So if we can all agree on percentages that we think are fair for private businesses versus group businesses, I'm okay with that. The 60-40, I'm not necessarily a numbers person. I was just trying to throw something at you that maybe made a little sense. You know, sorry, go ahead.
The girls been working super hard on their jewelry, and I think they should be rewarded.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
I'd say
that's
give it
like
a shot.
private
It's
business.
60-40.
We really
But
work
it's
The
tough to-
outcome's gonna be very
That could be
low,
counted as a private
It's
business.
tough to do that now when, you know, the group has purchased those tools, some of the supplies, her stuff was bartered for, you know, some was come from, you know what I mean? It's hard to separate that now because
What
there's
if we just
stuff
sat
that
back from the day from the beginning and decided, well, I'm not going to work too hard because what do I care? Where would we be? We would still be cooking on this. We would have no phone. We would have no food. We would have no anything. I just don't understand this. So if we're all going to be individuals and live here as individuals and make individual money, that's cool, I guess. So then
It benefits the group more too.
it'll strictly, but it doesn't. It'll strictly be who brought in the most money at the end of the month. You could tally the figures, and then that's who the person goes, I guess. It's
Yeah,
really
definitely.
kind of shitty.
No, I'm definitely not suggesting that at all. I see how we're operating on our day-to-day basis, and I feel like a lot of us here, and I'll just speak for myself, emotionally are struggling because it's like all we're doing is trying to survive. I mean, we don't have the Utopia experience scheduled for another couple weekends, and I already have heard panic in a lot of your voices, like, what are we going to do for money? What are we going to do for money? And that, to me, is just survival. So all I'm trying to do is encourage an incentive-based system that helps us thrive as individuals, because without strong individuals, we cannot be a strong group. You cannot mask weak individuals in a group. It will never happen. Our weaknesses now are already starting to come out, and look what kind of energy we're all bringing to the table. I mean, I am not as strong as I was when I came in here.
But necessity is the mother of invention, and like I don't think anybody's like kicking back and relaxing. And like we had, like Rob said, we had no incentive in the beginning except to like get things kicked off. I mean, our incentive is building utopia. It's not like cold hard cash. Like I was talking to Bree earlier, and I was like, if you're still around here, let's start up Bree Chinos. Like I wasn't saying like Bree, we could make a shitload of money
No, and I'm not,
like run away. Like I would never want to do that.
It's so unfortunate to me that I'm talking in this positive manner, and that's how it's being interpreted. It's very unfortunate that what I'm speaking is like cold hard cash and like give me all the money and we're going to be like that and separate ourselves, because I'm really just trying to bring a positive outlook to the group. That's all. And I think your Bree Chino thing is a great idea. I've told her it's a great idea, and I want her to sell those, and I would like to see her take a cut of that because that was her idea. And what I'm bringing here is a positive attitude, and I think it's unfortunate that it's being interpreted the wrong way, because that's not how I'm trying to say it.
But everything gets negative shit on here. That's what happened. I mean, your intention is irrelevant. It's people thinking out loud. I mean,
so why am I even bothering then if my intentions are irrelevant?
to see if it
told you good
cuts,
luck.
yeah, to see if it works.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's, you know, I
At
mean,
the end of the day, Kristen, we're going to try it.
yeah, and that's all I'm asking. Just try it. I'm not saying we keep implementing it moving forward, but I mean, geez, it's not even I haven't even been 24 hours in my government, and I'm already getting a lot of backlash.
Welcome to government, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's really not a
Like how we
government
choose the
thing. It's
president.
not government.
Okay, how, just based on, or just going back to government, how are we going to resolve conflict? How are we going to purchase things? I know you said you would like a democracy?
Hold up, I'm sorry. I just realized something. If I don't have a business, I'm basically on welfare. No, I'm basically on welfare, right?
Those are the ways that she structured it.
You
Okay,
could steal.
One second.
Hang on, let Amanda
One second.
finish.
So, just going back to the government part, and I know the business is part of the government. However, how are the other things that go on with government, like conflict resolution or spending money as a group or making an order or whatever? How are we going to resolve those things? I hear the business thing, and I'm down for it because I told myself I would give everyone a chance. But when this weekend is over and we move to the next one, are you going to keep the money from whatever? Is Aaron going to keep the money from boot camp? Is Nikki going to keep the money from moving forward? And that's a concern of mine because already they would be up something. And my other point was, Chris can draw, Bella can draw. Okay, I can draw a little bit, but I would definitely compete against these two. I would compete against Hex. I would compete against everyone who I thought I'll be out there trying to do my little yoga thing, pregnant and all, trying just to compete because I would try to make it better. And that's how I operate business. Is what do I see that's already existing, and how can I make it better to people to go to me?
Well, for you, I thought about you because I figured you'd have that concern. And outside of here, you said you worked as a behavioral specialist with children, right? So there's nothing saying that during the week you can't have children in here and do some type of children's class, or you are going to be a new mom. You can't have some kind of new mom session and gathering with them and do some kind of new mom's craft. We're not limited here to just art and, making handmade goods. There's so much more than that.
Right, and I agree. Sorry, I agree.
That's okay.
She's just saying, what about a no-compete clause or something like that?
So yeah, it would be that. That's another issue that should be addressed as
Should
well.
you pay people not to compete? I mean, I could teach yoga too. Amanda could have a yoga class, Nikki could have a yoga class, and I could have one.
I mean, I think if rules like that have to be made, then we can make a no-compete clause. And
But why would I sign it? I mean, what would be my incentive?
It would be your incentive to sign it. I don't know.
Mob rule, everybody jumps you.
I mean, outside of here, I'm a very hardball kind of a person. Talk about conflict resolution. I think if a conflict isn't handled, if there's a conflict happening at my breakfast table while I'm eating, I think you should be fined because that's a rule. If everyone here wants me to play hardball, I'll play hardball. I'm just trying to be more fair and realistic.
I think you can try that.
But I'm saying, I'm more about structure and fines and repercussions, solid repercussions for bad behavior or acting out. But I know that's probably honestly not going to work here, so I don't want to bring that to the table. I'm just trying to bring my positive ideas to the table. Sorry, go ahead.
I just want to let you know that I signed a contract that I have 1/15 of this LLC, regardless of what you put on paper. It's a binding legal agreement, which is a real one. And so I get 1/15 of anything that comes in. I mean, that's a binding legal agreement.
Right.
I mean, so
you might want to review that contract.
I have a lawyer.
Yeah, we
so
can do that.
You could hire me to review that contract. 200.
But honestly, I came in here to work, to work hard over there. I was kind of irritated. Just an example, people were building stuff inside here and doing art stuff, and that was great. And we hadn't had a Utopia experience yet, and I'm over here building cabinets and tables and chairs and shit for everybody. I was kind of irritated. I was like, I guess Rob and I'll just work.
You're
and everybody
irritated
will do
because
stuff.
you're not being rewarded for your effort.
Well, I was like, I guess we can just do hobby time and stuff. But then people start selling stuff, and I was like, wow, they're making money, and that's great. But I'm busy doing stuff, for infrastructure and building, and I don't want it I don't want to lose sight of why we came here. I came here to start an economy, with everyone, to build stuff for all of us to use, to make money, to share with everyone. And maybe some incentive, 1%, 2%, something, if you work hard, is that I can deal with that up to, maybe 5%, something like that. But I think that any large percentages, it's going to start separating the group even more. It's going to create conflict, That's just my opinion. There's a lot of gray area in it too,
Right. You haven't talked yet, next.
This is just my own strictly personal. I hate money. I hate every single thing about money. And right now, technically, here, I'm a business owner. I'm a dual major. I'm both AM and PM milking and head of garden. Realistically, I would probably, with this structure, be rolling pretty fat. But truth is, money makes me feel guilty. And I don't want to be more successful financially than anyone else. Is there any way that I could be accommodated for my wishes in this structure, or is this just something I have to?
No, you don't have to do anything. I mean, if you had your 60% and you wanted to give 50% back to the group, that's your money. Or if you wanted to donate to charity, that's your money. But at the end of the day, it's your money because you've worked for it, and you're still contributing 40% to the group as well. So it's not like you're taking 100%.
I'm not taking away from anybody's things that they do here. Chris's art, Bella's art, the boxes. But hands down, out there, I don't feel like they'd sell as fast as they do in here because of why they're here and what this meaning behind it is. Yeah. No offense, but if he built boxes on the outside world, no one's going to buy boxes. Why would anybody buy boxes? Art. Yeah. They do amazing art. Yeah. Is it something they'll get in a gallery? Not for me to judge. I'm not an art gallery guy. No offense, probably not.
You won't be in Sotheby's anytime soon.
So how's he gonna? How's that differ? Because it's you're going off the TV show where that's the main thing we're supposed to be getting away from is selling the show, and that's where these incentives are, and that's where a lot of the money is becoming, like boot camps, yoga. I believe that they could easily do these on the outside world. Would they get paid as much? Probably not, because
I get paid way more.
I get paid more in the outside world.
Again, you're attacking me on this. I don't give a shit.
I'm not attacking you whatsoever.
I get paid way more not being here as well, bro. Right. I could be making 10 times more money.
I'm broke all the time. Stay broke.
You just said with that ideal, regardless of whatever we do because of the platform, any business that we create will be bound by utopia. Meaning that any incentive that comes from it, anything that we do, any extra people that come here, whatever they do, that buy his art, that come for his boxes, that come for my boot camp or her yoga, no matter what we try to do, there's no way to take out the fact that we're on a platform of a television. So regardless of how much it makes out there, there's no way to really run from that. So people to get that experience.
But that's taking away from things people
you come up with one business right now that we can do in here that
I could make
nobody on the outside will
what's that going to get me?
Associate it with
I could
utopia.
make people want to come through that door just to see what I could do in here. Landscape related. What's that incentive for me? What am I going to get out of that?
And I'm just
it's just going to get me running my ass around doing a bunch of tedious shit to bring people through that door. But my income won't change. I won't get any more money.
So then where do you see the income level going up or down? Or do you just consider yourself wanting to be at a median place where you get $38 every week?
You're sticking at our minimum that we've gotten 1 weekend.
Right.
We've only had businesses open for 2 weeks.
2 weekends, right.
That's it.
So then how do you success a premium? Where do you see yourself going up?
We haven't even gotten to the point where we're making a massive
amount of money. I'm saying, what do you bring in that sense to make more money, more business, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then where would more business come from? If it's appropriate
in all
to the people on the
businesses,
outside.
what do all businesses need? Laborers. Chris is going to have more work than he knows to do. He's going to have more work than he knows to do. But how is it going to be cost effective to have him doing it all by himself? That being said, all these things any one of us could do. I could build a box. It's not rocket science. You grab a box. You have your outline right there. I could go build a box right now. But it's his idea. But who's to say, just because it's his idea, why would I have to stop myself from doing it?
Why would you stop at 4 businesses?
I'm not saying stop. Where is your idea of me saying stop at 4 businesses?
No, I'm saying if you're going to bring in more business.
But there could be people that have multiple glass blowing. Or I don't like pointing at Chris because obviously he's pretty mad that people are bringing him.
But I'm saying outside of that, what are the businesses we can come up with and accommodate in here? We create more businesses. There's more opportunity and more ideas that we can do while we're here.
I hear you, but there's also ideas that certain people come up with first that get shut down for a specific reason. But later on, that reason is gone. And now this business is an okay business to have here. The selling the food. I could do that. Is it okay right now? No. Will it be okay? Who knows?
I feel like, and I see this a lot outside of here, the conversations we're all having is everyone here is afraid of success because they're so worried about failure. I mean, ideas are ideas. I mean, we could come up with.
I think because they're worried about what everybody else thinks.
I mean, we could come up with.
We're drawing a line between entrepreneurs and laborers, so we're literally creating off the rip here, a upper echelon class and a lower class.
I don't consider him just a laborer,
but that's technically in what it is. With him not being an entrepreneur or a business owner, he is automatically a laborer, and he is automatically blue collar working class.
He could be a business owner, though. I mean, he's a good-looking dude. He's got personality. We could come up with a business for him. Like, I mean, he does. You know, like
the separation immediately, though.
It's a separation.
I was graced into an entrepreneurship because I had it previously, but I would have been a laborer, and to be honest.
I'm an entrepreneur because I taught myself how to be one. Before that, I was washing dishes and I was a waitress. So I think that's something that if you are saying you're a laborer or you're an entrepreneur, laboring is an entrepreneur. I mean, you worked in landscape outside of here. You've worked in business. That's an entrepreneur to me. An entrepreneur isn't just someone that has an internet business, does a class, makes a product to sell. If you are operating on your own and you're being self-sufficient, you're an entrepreneur. Go ahead.
I'm an entrepreneur, but my skills, I'm not going to sell my skills to somebody that comes in that door. You know, I can't sell them online. You know, I was a
You can sell your body.
I'm a heat and air contractor. So here, I would probably be a laborer because what am I going to create? You know, I can draw a little bit, but you know, that's really not going to.
You can't even do that with the no-compete clause.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I like the idea. I like, you know, rewarding hard work, you know, and that extra amount of time that you put. Like, you go to bed at 11 and 12 o'clock at night because you're working on it. That's freaking awesome.
Can I have mine retroactively?
You know, but what am I going to do?
Well, you know? I know when you came in here, you said that you did dancing and you like music, so those are options that we could explore. I know also, I mean, we've spoken a little bit about religion, and we don't really have another, like, strong religious presence here. That's something that you could offer. As far as individual business ideas, I would be happy to sit down and help each one of you, because I think all of you have potential. You really do. I mean, Rob, we've talked about you having a video blog. You can make ad revenue off of that. I mean, you already have your personality out there. You're funny. Like, there's so much more than just making goods and drawing art.
That's what I'm scared of, because I don't have any talents. Like,
yeah, you do. I think.
I think this is for everyone. This isn't. I just only use Chris because it's a clear example, but everyone here is talented. And if I didn't think you weren't, I wouldn't have even brought that up because I don't want to make someone feel like they're less than. You know.
Can't you take the spirit of capitalism and create the spirit of like rewarding success, but create like a more creative way to go about it? Because what you're talking about is, I don't think it's going to work, but I think the incentive portion and like the idea to promote entrepreneurialism will work. I mean, capitalism was born out of like Calvinist religion. It took like hundreds of tens of years anyway to even get it launched. Like, we're at a very primitive state here. Can't you kind of like make it more interesting and exciting and maybe mask some of the language you're using and get people's butts going? Because Rob and I could have a great video blog and like videos and movies and stuff, but I don't think if we're competing against $20 pieces of jewelry, we're going to bother to do it, you know?
No, I mean, blogs, you can make $10,000 a month off of ad revenue if you're doing traffic, or a day. Yeah, I mean, so I just don't want everyone here to like have the fear before we give it a shot. And it's not about capitalism. I had to put a definition on what I was doing, so it was capitalism, but it's capitalist-ish. Like, it's not complete capitalism. It's more incentive-based, and I want everyone here to feel like they can embrace the talents that they have and even take on new talents.
But that sounds better. That makes people intrigued. Like, can't you call it Christianism or something? Well, that's something else. So, like, kind of like make it use your own creativity.
Where you don't have to reward with money. Because that's, I mean, when I came in here, that was one of the first things I said when you asked me what my utopia was, is helping everyone reach their potential.
Yeah.
I'm not me focused. I don't really get a lot out of this because I don't even have a business idea right now, you know, so this isn't about me.
But your business idea would be what percentages of everybody's business?
No. And that was something I wanted to address. My marketing services are offered to the group. If someone pulled me aside and said, if Dedeker said, can you build me a website so I can sell my knit hats, then that's something we can work out on an individual basis. But my marketing is not my business, and I actually don't want my marketing to be my business here because I want to be more creative than that.
No, I hear you. And you've already stated that your marketing is kind of like, not, I want to say a chore, but like the farming.
No, I've given.
But why would you want to put yourself at that platform when you could? keep climbing.
Climbing with marketing, you're saying?
Yeah.
Because I like my creative side. Like when I watch Chris do his art or something like that, like I want to be more that person. Like I love fashion. I want to take my extra money I earn here and buy a sewing machine and start teaching myself how to sew. And that's where I'm coming from this. Like I still am growing as an individual, and there's so much I have to learn. Like marketing was just one thing that I like self-taught myself over the last few years. I wasn't born with that knowledge. I'd love to learn how to sew and make clothing and sell it. So for me, that's going to be more mentally and emotionally rewarding to find something, a creative outlet besides just like, let's build everybody websites. I'm just going to make money off of that, because it's not about money for me either. It's really not. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So, the thing that I'm noticing is that, like to Amanda, you say, well, you could bring in children to do behavioral therapy. To Taylor, you could be doing this. Like, that the system is already clearly skewed in having to have everybody have a business. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, my business outside here, one of my businesses was teaching dance classes. Mm-hmm. And I just, even though the talent is there and different skills are there, I don't have an interest in running an individual business in here. Like, I already did that out there. I don't have an interest in recreating that here. And so what do you do with people who have skills and have talent, do contribute, do work hard, but like don't have an interest in actually owning their own business? Especially when the system is so skewed in favor of having a business.
Well, for you, I know you're contributing a lot to the accounting, and we kind of discussed this earlier, that if there are other businesses, not everyone here knows how to do accounting. I actually suck at numbers and fail at my own accounting when I have my own business. So that's something you could continue doing for each person on an individual basis and take, 5% of their earnings. That's an individual transaction you can have. If not, there's no. This isn't forcing you, saying you have to have a business. I just want to, get everyone starting to think more creatively. But you don't have to have a business, and if you don't want to, you don't want to.
You would still benefit from everybody's business.
Yeah, I know, I understand that, but it's what welfare. It's like Rob said, it's welfare.
I think that's just putting a name on it.
Welfare is a set amount of money.
People work and bring in money, and other people get that money. That's welfare.
Well, even if you took the idea of, and I understand what you're saying, but even if you took the idea of the group and right now what we're doing, like for instance what me and Nikki are doing, we're doing boot camp. Not a single soul can even come out there and do boot camp or in yoga, but all the money that we have really goes back to the group and benefits solely the group and not just us individually. That could be the exact same idea as that is considered to be welfare. Yeah, I make money too, but
people
what I'm doing is literally paying everybody else.
If you did boot camp and if you never walked in this and did boot camp, people weren't going to be so hyped to come to it.
That's a situation. No, that's actually a personal choice because I own a gym back home. I got people to come all the time, so that's just a personal ideal. Even still being here, if Josh is selling boxes, if we changed that and skewed it, if he gave 70% back to the group, that would literally bring up how much everybody makes on a paycheck higher. The same exact way is right now, if I bring 5 people through that door or 1 person through that door, your paycheck will go up no matter what because 5 people came through that door for boot camp. That's the way it is now. So what the only difference is then is he gets to keep a smaller amount of it because he did it on his own and nobody else helped him out. And even if I'm doing boot camp, well, not boot camp, like I was telling Taylor earlier, let's say I open up my own business, right? And we have that division of the way the money's getting separated, 70-30. I may say, Taylor, you don't have much to do out here. You're a laborer. Like you said, you want to go into this business with me? Let's do it 50-50 because there are people here that don't have specific traits or, these certain skills. So Taylor and I are going in this business 50-50. Everything that we make now, we split. And then the rest of it goes into the pot. And then you come around and I say, hey, man, if every person that you get to come up and do this, I'll give you 25% of all my personal earnings. You're already going to make money regardless as the group member. Now you get 25% of my earnings.
Just not interested
and some
in
of that.
I could have stayed outside the gates and made a lot of money and continued to make a lot of money. But I came here, so it's just like I have ideas that I won't even bring to this because I don't want to give it away.
I think y'all are losing sight. This is her few days to do what she wants to do.
Oh, I understand that, but it's definitely a conversation to be had about the long term, and I don't think this is just a 3-day thing. You know, I can't see, because it's going to keep coming up. Because Chris, when your stuff blows up, and my dude, it's gonna, because I'm sure it's sick. Because I just see the stuff you make. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you going to feel about? I mean, that's it's going to come up. So this is kind of a good way, you know, to come up with it when you ain't got shit.
Yeah, well, and that's why I wanted to address it. Because for me, like the government stuff, the conflict resolution, we set up conflict resolution things for the past few governments, and have we even really followed them? No, we're still
I
arguing
have during
really,
mine.
What?
I have during mine.
Yeah, okay. But I'm just saying, you know, to me, I see this as a long-term issue that could very well separate us 2 months down the road. I mean, even the way we had that talk about Josh's boxes the other day, I'm like, oh my God, if this is what every business investment talk is going to be like, we're going to end up going at each other's throats, you know, because we're all hungry and we're making so little every week, you know. So I just want to take my government time to address this issue, because to me, I feel like this is so important, and if we don't address it now, it's going to separate us down the road.
Okay, so I just wanted to say, I still didn't hear your conflict resolution plan. And then the other thing was, I think the same way. When I walk through that door, I still I'm thinking that way now. And if I had something more to offer, I would have already. And I know it takes time sometimes, and I get inspired, but I do have ideas. But I would hope that everyone, they're not happy with their ideas that you do have, that you would bring to the table, regardless of your money or not. You know, you should have been thinking about that a long time ago, and I have. But now, let's say I want to go forth with my own idea. My idea costs a lot of computer time. You know, so how are we going to do that?
And get two computers, and you could have one.
My idea costs a lot of computer time, and then let's say I don't know how to make a website, but now I will you can offer to make a website, or Nikki can make a website, and now I have to check up all, and it just causes. I don't see the bigger picture after this. I do see incentives. I think incentives are nice. But I just can't see the bigger picture moving forward from these 3 days, because I feel like this is your perfect opportunity for this business. Would be right now, this Sunday, tomorrow, then Monday, Tuesday. It's perfect timing. You know what I mean? So what happens after these 3 days? And if we can't, what you're suggesting is great, but it goes beyond 3 days. I'm willing to give it 3 days, but this plan is so far-fetched. It's more than just 3 days.
I mean, my definite hope is that in the 3 days, we can all come to an agreement on the percentages and the numbers, because I'm not attached to these percentages, and carry it forward, because I think the whole point of us doing these exercises is not to just experiment like lab rats, is to pick what we like from each one and take it forward. That's my ideal. That's my hope. And at least if that doesn't happen, I can sleep better at night knowing that I gave my 2 cents to this group, because I think we all know that I've been quiet here for a long time. You know, and if they didn't like it, well, I mean, there are certain instances. But if they didn't like it, they didn't like it, and at least I said my piece, because that's the business part is what I came here for, you know. So that's all I ask. If you don't like it, I'm not going to force anybody to do anything. I just want it to give it a try and see if we can come to a compromise.
I agree. I think like what I've seen what's happening is like the best of each person's ideas kind of like stick around and keep progressing towards something. It just took some people some time. What you're talking about is an economic system, not a government system.
Right.
But it is so like part of like socioeconomic stuff that like I'm willing to totally go into it and accept it, you know what I mean, for the 3 days, and we'll probably take some cool stuff out of it. I think if everybody's willing to play with this idea and like tailor it to their own stuff and like converse with you, something cool could come out of it, you know. So I'm on board. I'm just like, I see all like the
right. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask about more specific numbers, but do you want to wait and tailor percentages
Yeah,
more? And
I didn't even really want to talk about the number 6. We've all had a long day, and I was just shooting on the side of my hip, you know. And
We take you for your word. You said it. You said it. God damn it, I'm getting fucking 40%.
you know,
You said it.
No, you get 60.
Oh, 60. No,
I get 40.
No, you sell yourself short.
You get 100%.
All the boxes I list tomorrow, I'm getting 60%. Yes.
Plus 40.
Plus 40.
it was just the concept, and a lot of
I'm ordering
it.
some brooms.
It was the
Do not
concept.
get those brooms.
It was the concept, and a lot of it was based on the growth I've already seen in all of us. And I've given Hex as an example, but it's true. I saw her email Stephanie on her own accord and get her to come here to help her show her to make jewelry, and that was impressive. So it's all about the growth I've seen in us, and I just want to take that growth moving forward. But the numbers itself, I am not like 60%. It's not about that. I'm not about money.
You're introducing the ideas.
I'm just laying down. I'm throwing out numbers, and then we can agree on a group as what numbers we want to keep around after this situation.
I think it's a great idea, Kristen. I'm really all for it. Personally, with my business, I would like everything that I sell, because I agreed when I came here, everything I do is going to be for the group pot. I don't want 60-40. I love your idea. I really would love to see this implemented, because there's some people's businesses who would be great for it, but personally, I just really want to paint, and then it all goes to the pot. So I am for your idea, but also am for the whole group making money. So just in case everybody knows about this weekend, by selling paintings, it's going to go to the pot. So
I hate money, but for the sake of it being your government or your economic change, I will abide.
Thank you.
It's a dude about.
That what she's imposing is that it's an option. Remember, like, you make that extra portion. If she does like a 70-30 split or something like that, you can still put that entire thing into the kitty for the group if you so choose to, if that's what you feel like. Here he goes. I'm saying you can, but then think about it, right? Chris makes a couple of artifacts, and they literally sell for $6,000, $7,000, $8,000.
Yeah.
And just put yourself in his shoes for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
He's gonna fold that entire $8,000 into the group, and he was the only person out there doing that work. Of course, we would love to help him if you want, but some things you literally can only do by yourself, just to make sure the quality, all of that stuff. $8,000 is what he has. Now he can say, you know what? I want to give the group the whole $8,000. That's amazing. That's humble. That's really serious. But maybe he wants to purchase some other things for himself, just to make himself feel better. Or something that you never know what people want,
Or maybe he wants to treat everyone to beds here. I mean, if I was making money like that, and I want us all to be happy, because when we're all happy, we're not fighting as much, I mean, it's not about me. It's just about growing as individuals so we can be happier together and live happier together, because the past couple weeks, I feel like in hell, and I was just trying to propose something that would help us, see things a little bit more positively, but the numbers itself I'm not attached to.
What about like computer time? Like, how is that going to work? Because like so many of the ideas are
web-based.
Yeah.
I actually thought when we got the laptop, I thought we were going to have this issue, and I'm happy we haven't had this issue, but I think that could just be broken down to technicality. I mean, 1/15 of the computer is everybody's, and we take the computer time and we split it up in that time, and everyone has like 45 minutes a day on the internet, and then if you want to stay up at 3 in the morning typing up a blog post or something, then that's based on what you work out on your own. But I mean, the computer time I think should be fair and should be split evenly. I don't think one person's idea should take priority over another.
Can I sell my 45 minutes?
Just thinking that same thing.
I'm not going to use it. Can I sell my 45 minutes?
No, you're entitled to it. That's the extent.
Can I create a stock?
Either you use it or
yeah, you should be able to sell it then if
Can we
there's
make a
incentive.
market exchange for computer time and derivatives of those computers?
I would. If you were selling your computer time and I needed it, I would buy it. But I guess that's just me.
Side betting.
Those are more personal. I didn't want to get
highest bidder.
I didn't want to put too much of my hand into like the personal interaction.
I'm not going to make money and be like, yeah, I'm balling like a bitch, and hold. No, like I'm not getting money to hold it over anybody's head. Like I was talking. No, seriously. Like Nikki was saying earlier, I want to buy the mixed blender, but the group may not agree that that's something that we should purchase. So why not purchase it with my personal money?
And then it
Mike
like
wants
group talk
something for his nipples. You know, he wants rings. He's something about nipple rings. Of course, the group isn't going to say, hey, here's, you know, X, Y, and Z amount of money. But if he has his own personal money, he can go and purchase those things. And let's be serious. We are going to keep doing the experience twice a month and stuff like that. The numbers will grow, but there is a cap on that as well. So we're really looking at a cap on how much money we can make with door stuff and that money. You really think $150 every 2 weeks is going to buy you the personal things that you really want? Maybe another shirt or some shoes or, you know, personal items that are just for you, not something that you have to clear through the whole group before you can get it.
That's silly because, like, if all the money that we made during the week went to the group, then we'd have more money. So that's like, what's the difference?
I mean, true, but then it's minimal in comparison.
It's the same amount. I mean, it's just like we're
see
just
it as
making
being
more and more money
personal.
because people like doing things and like building businesses.
I see it as more of a personal incentive. I mean, I'm going to be honest. If I knew that 100% of what I was doing I had to give back to the group, I just don't think I would work as hard. I'm just being, you know, like
maybe take a vote.
You know, I wouldn't be putting in, you know, 6-8 hours on, you know, a day working on my business if I only knew I was going to still be bringing home $40, $50, $60 a week. And I'm okay admitting that, honestly. I'm just being honest.
So,
she had it up first.
Just to kind of move things along.
Yeah.
So when could we expect to hear like finalized numbers and like numbers on percentage of what's going to come from this weekend, percentage if what's going to go into savings, if anything's going to go into savings, what's going to go towards spending?
Well, the thing about this weekend is this weekend is a group business, so that it same is on. Yeah.
Wait, but where does the 1% come from?
The 0.5% was coming from chore duties. So I was going to make a chore duty list, and we all signed up for 2 things to do a day, and you get 0.5% after taxes of what we make this weekend for doing your chores. But because we're only doing it for 3 days, I'm going to be honest, this is more of a long-term solution. I just really wanted to have my platform to say it in front of the group. But like, this is not something that's going to be able to just play out in 3 days. And government's important, but I would rather take my 3 days to speak and bring something to life that we can work on a long-term solution than just play around with something so extravagant like for 3 days and then get rid of it. Like, I want to take my time to, as a leader, to just at least have this discussion. So it's not as much about tomorrow, starting tomorrow, you guys, we're all splitting the money up. We can still do things the same for the next 3 days as far as I'm concerned. I just want to use this time to have my voice heard about this situation.
We wanted to get raffle tickets, and I think Nikki has somebody who can get them for us, but we'd have to pay her back. Can we vote on? How would you like to go about deciding whether to get those raffle tickets?
Just vote. I'm okay. I'm okay with the democratic voting system. Everything we've been doing up to this point, I don't see a problem with. That's why I want to contribute something different.
Can we vote?
Raffle tickets for what?
Money, like 50-50.
Well, my idea, 50-50 raffle is awesome. I think it'd be more interesting if we raffled something.
That's what I was saying. Raffle is something that we have.
I will if I can go. I'll be the raffle item if I can leave them.
I have to go to the bathroom. Can we go fast?
Can we raffle Hex's bathroom products?
I think your raffle idea is a great idea. Yeah, I heard it.
So what do we raffle though?
I could do a painting. We could raffle a painting,
Well,
anything, a rock. We could
We
paint
can
a
just
rock.
get. You want to vote on getting the raffle
now.
tickets, though, right? So why don't we just
Yeah,
vote
and
on
then
getting
we'll
the
just do like 50-50.
What we could
And then if we want to add like a cool prize too,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can.
yeah.
Raffle honey. Somebody please take honey.
A toupee made out of Mike's hair.
Raffle the
anything.
tractor.
So all in favor of getting raffle tickets for tomorrow.
Are we sure we can do that though? Because
Yeah.
of the tax purposes and
We'll tax it. Let's just grab that money.
The raffle tickets are like $5.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I feel like a lot of things get shut down. Like,
Who cares?
This is taking on a whole carny form. Like, this
now.
we're almost there.
This is taking
Act
Let's
now,
take
we'll
that board
apologize
with the names
later.
on and put balloons up and throw darts at it. I mean,
Okay,
we're
so
almost
then
there.
we need
I want to do that.
One
Great
more kid
idea.
ride and we're there.
Can we also talk about
I
what
wanna get
needs
some
to happen
funnel cake.
before tomorrow?
What about the Josh ride, we'll call it?
Tomorrow,
Yeah,
we
mustache
have
ride.
the
did we
classes
get
are going to be
raffles?
split up this time because we have such a short window. I was thinking about splitting them up into 30-minute sessions and nothing will run at the same time. So 2 to 2:30 belly dancing, 2:30 to 3 winemaking.
Let's make it on the 30s because people get here at like 2:15.
Yeah, and then all we need is just a new sign for tomorrow. I can help with that, Chris, if you want to help.
Windows coming in hot.
Oh,
I think you have to like very specifically delegate that.
Dude.
because-
Yeah.
Big Bear?
Yeah. Is that something? Are we okay with like having another meeting like tomorrow morning to finalize this and talk about that then too, or do we want to talk about it now?
60%?
Well, what needs to happen before tomorrow?
Just a new schedule, new sign. The schedule I'm taking care of. I just need help with the sign.
We need to price things, I guess. That could be our own responsibility. Pricing things for tomorrow.
Yeah. And tomorrow there are going to be a lot of people anticipated to come through these doors, so we just need to make sure we are all ready.
Okay, we're ready. We need to, Taylor, we got to do the kissing booth. Linda's coming in hot. Go. Coming in hot. What are we doing? You got she said $40. Yeah, she'll pay $40, dude.
You can probably get more than that.
You got to give me the pound.
Linda will give you 60.
Bella, you can't get in the line.
I want everyone to know I'm a hustler. So everything that's going on, I'm paying attention and I'm getting up on it.
Not this way.
I'm a hustler.
Wait a minute.
What does that mean?
Is that just business or everything?
No, not for everything.
Okay.
For business.
So is it happening this weekend? This is happening in October? What's happening?
Oh, the raffle tickets. Can we get the raffle
I'm
tickets?
going to call right now.
What was I can't do any boot camp? And I'm sure once you make some money, you're 60%.